I'm 84 years old. People think I'm crazy when I tell them how old I am. I'd like to be normal. I just have a sickness. The only way I can survive is by drinking blood.
That's fair.
It's not easy living the way I do. I have to be careful all the time. But I'm pretty good at it. I think as I get older, I get better. I haven't been caught yet.
Martin, another kind of terror.
See, people don't understand what's wrong. They think that I'm a monster. They think I'm a vampire. People don't realize that those things I see in the movies are not real. I don't have a whole lot of women. It's nice to watch them. I watch them a lot all the time. I have to be sure that nothing goes wrong. I follow them. I plan. I'm very careful. I have needles now. I can use them. I can put them to sleep. And it doesn't hurt.
Martin, another kind of terror.
I would like to be like everyone else. I have to do things that I don't necessarily like to do, but I want to stay alive. I do need blood.
From the director of Night of the Living Dead, Martin, another kind of terror.
Something waits in the dark. Something monstrous. Something evil. Something only part human, living to satisfy its unspeakable cravings and unnatural lusts. They feed on fear. They thrive on terror. Who will satisfy them next? If it finds you, pray. But all it does is kill you. Something waits in the dark.
Next weekend on the Drive-In Asylum double feature, two movies that we can't wait to watch with you guys. Martin, a classic from George Romero, of course, and Screamers, actually, is the title I like to refer to that second movie as, although the trailer I showed was from this brief run they gave it as Something Waits in the Dark, a movie that was originally called Isle of the Fishmen. Isn't that right? Or am I getting that wrong?
You are right, and you will see a man get turned inside out, but you won't.
Maybe.
Maybe, as you were promised.
No, it is not Slithis. We already did Slithis, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We
I
all
think
had
we
our
did.
Slithis cards to protect us. They're 50-cent
Okay.
Slithis fan club cards. Two different vampire movies. This week's a completely different vampire movie than you'll get next week.
Yeah, this one had actual spooky castles and lots of dust and cobwebs and, women. I guess, was there really a backlit nightgown in this? I guess maybe I lied about that one.
There was close. There were a few nightgowns. Looks like Pamela enjoyed it. Wondering how everybody else felt about the movie this week. I've watched this a ton of times, but it was a ton of fun watching it with Bill. Our excitement was very loud during a couple scenes in the movie. Giorgio came out as really, I think, the star of the movie for us. He's amazing.
Absolutely. His sense of passion was impeccable.
I also love that literally the film breaks for that one dance scene, and like it goes from his piano to an entire orchestra playing and girls just shrugging and kicking their legs up, and it just gets nuts.
It goes all Busby Berkeley there for a minute. And, it's totally like taking you out. It's outside it's outside the narrative, I guess, the music, because it seems to be coming from the sky. There was jazz music playing in the forest too.
The scene with the jazz music playing on the interlude in the forest is my favorite part in the whole movie because it completely does not fit what's going on. Therefore, it's perfect. Like, I really love that. Also, I love that so much of the movie is women just looking right at the camera and kicking their legs towards you. It's like, okay. Yeah, sure. It's very aware of the camera in a lot of the movie.
Leg fetish.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely tell that Pacelli was a maniac watching this. It's very made to his particular wants. And also there's a lot
like
of
Russ
women,
Meyer.
very Russ Meyer, and there's also just a lot of women smoking in random moments. Like they're all dancing, and that one girl was just lit up, just smoking while she's dancing. Later, everybody's eating a sandwich, and she's in the corner smoking too, while people are just eating. Like it's such an alien thing to us these days, but it happened.
She was smoking all kinds of ways. You think they were partying?
Yeah. I love too when people get bit in this movie, they become overwhelmed by a near a sensual need to be a vampire, which
Do
is
you think they
way
were
different.
partying? You think they were smoking? You think she's like, hey, I got some of this vampire shit. You got to try.
You should see the stuff that's thrown at the other castle.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
They have
this
a
movie
whole.
like barely. This is what I love about it. It barely attempts to explain what's going on. I like that the professor is like, even though the professor spent all that time in the beginning explaining the what vampires are,
Yeah,
he, whenever it starts happening, he's like, "Yeah, there's a mansion over there, but there haven't been people in hundreds of years." And then it's dropped. That's never brought up again. It's like a non sequitur. It's like, what the fuck's been going on over there for 400 years?
that's how much he knew about vampires. There was one right next door.
Yeah. And then the who are the who's in charge of the two vampires? Like even up till the end, they're still fighting over who fucked over who. You know what I mean?
They
Like
were codependent.
they very much are, and I like that he's all a romantic to the end. He's like, we lived this horrible life together. We're gonna die together. Come here, like let's just make out one more time. It's pretty great.
I thought they were extremely selfish people or non-people, if you want to call them that,
Well, I also
because
like that
he
she
let
will
this
not.
woman rise from the grave, and like she had these fangs and everything, and he tells her, "Oh, go move into my castle because you're gonna like live this fabulous life as the queen of the night." And then the next thing he does is drive a stake through her fucking heart. That's fucking rude.
Oh, it's great though
Who
because
does
he's
that
like,
shit?
this this coffin will be your entry point to your domain and she's like, yeah, I totally buy this. And then he's like, nah.
Yeah, she was into it. Like that's I felt bad for her. She was like, okay, for once I was this nubile village girl, like living my life, being nubile, and then all of a sudden I'm sucked dry by a vampire. But hey, I get to do this cool Queen of the Night gig now. Oh, no, he just drove a stake through my heart and told her that she was about to die for real. That's
Yeah.
that's harsh. I'm
Also, I
sorry.
love that like their relationship between the two vampires is that she will remain beautiful and he's cool with looking like whatever he looks like. Like do you know what I mean? And like she has to suck these women's blood through him. Like it's almost
Yeah.
like she had these urges. She's like, I really want to be with women, but only if I swing with you. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like kind of like his
Yeah,
beardy kind of thing.
he was getting pushed around at home.
Yeah,
He did that, like, that hard edge shit with like the newbies and the ones
yeah,
that couldn't fight back because they didn't know. But he goes home and she beats him up.
yeah,
He deserved it. They
yeah.
were both really fucked up.
They
She
both
was
were, but
too.
I kind of respect the scam they had going on, where they're like, but also like if this scam has been going on and the professor has been living next door, I think that he's complicit because at one point he's like, no, it was just me walking through the garden. Like never in the history of you living in this village, you didn't know that this dude with a black cape was just wandering around killing women. It just
Yeah,
happened. We've seen it happen a couple times in the last hour and a half, much less you've lived here your whole life. And you're a vampire expert and you don't know anything? Did they bring the dumbest
he had his
vampire?
head firmly up his own ass.
Was he the vampire expert that they brought in? They're like, he doesn't know anything. He'll be the perfect cover for us.
They were lucky that he was the one that lived there. There
Oh,
might have been someone that actually knew, would be able to see right through their little gig that they had going there, their vampire trap. I loved it. It
what?
was like a trap. Like,
I like that Giorgio could smoke, play piano, and not wear an undershirt. He grew up to be Giorgio Moroder. That's one of the things that we
yeah,
talked about.
he
Yeah,
survived the film and went on to pioneer electronic dance music and Euro disco, all sorts of genres.
yeah. Well done, Giorgio. I like also that the other girls just kept dancing while there's this drama where two of the girls are either in a really weird relationship or one's a vampire. You could look at it either way. And also we don't find out what happens to the two girls. That like did when the vampires were killed, was the vampirism loosened on her?
It's open ended.
Yeah, my favorite comment that Bill made that you guys missed during the movie is whenever the crucifix is her best weapon, so she just turns her ass to the vampire, so the crucifix doesn't work.
I don't know what she was asking for there, but she was about to get it, and that crucifix saved her ass.
It totally
So,
did.
because, well, the guy came down the stairs, of course, and saved her ass. But if it wasn't for the crucifix, she would have been toast.
Oh,
I'm putting
yeah,
together my
the
second
power of
segment.
Christ did compel the vampires in this movie, and the power of light. Don't go outside.
I love that they were destroyed by light, and that those melting effects at the end were pretty. Those are pretty impressive, I have to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, the
Did you
director
think
did
so
those.
too?
Yeah, yeah, the director did those. So
I mean, am I just
it was
easily
almost
impressed, or was
censored
that
for a while because that melt scene really upset the censors.
it was a little bit better than Horror of Dracula, I'd even
Yeah.
say.
Also, there's so much furniture in this movie. Like that bedroom with the fireplace, amazing. That big like cistern or whatever it was in that one room when they were talking, like,
Yeah.
oh, so nice. There was like tapestries everywhere. Like it's some really nice castles. If you're gonna do castle living.
Well, they obviously subscribed to Better Castle and Gardens.
Yeah.
The way that there was that one portrait that was in the one girl's bedroom. That was outrageous. There was like this big weird portrait hanging there for no reason, and it was shaped. It was round shaped, like almost like a porthole.
Yeah. Oh, and Paul brought up the guy did the Peter Cushing candlestick move coming up the steps.
Ah, keen observation.
I like that the vampires really like once they started leading up the steps, they like forgot they were vampires. Like you guys could transform into fog, depending on your power set. You could turn into bats and fly away. You could hypnotize them. Like there's a lot of stuff you could do. And they're like, let's just keep walking up these steps and throwing things at them. And that was it. Let's lock this door and hope they can't break through the door.
Oh yeah. I mean, they should have had much worse tricks up their sleeves than that. They just sort of like let themselves be cornered. They didn't even know their own castle, dude.
They brought a wall
You
down on
live
Giorgio.
there. They're the ones that lived there. They
Yeah, they've
should have
lived there
known
for
all those
400
little.
years. They didn't have
Yeah.
an escape plan 400 years. They're like, maybe we should have an escape plan when this all goes bad.
I just can't believe that these goofs were the ones to finally challenge them, because they seemed pretty flighty, to say the least. Like they couldn't get their shit together, and all of a sudden they're the vampire killers, and they just sort of stumble into this thing, and they're able to vanquish them so easily. God.
Did they get cocky? Did the vampires get cocky and say, certainly this piano playing fool and his friend who has some relationship with one of the girls?
Yeah, I mean they were too mixed up in their own shit.
Yeah.
They were like into this codependent relationship, and he's like, "Oh, I love you." And he was okay as long as he was young, but then he would turn hideous and she'd be like, "Oh, you're disgusting. You're a monster. Get away from me." I was like, by now you should be able to understand
I think that was
why
just
he
their
looks
role
that way.
play that they were one of those weird real life
Mhm.
role players that like kept it up all the time.
It was their scene.
Yeah, they just had a scene that they did all the time and they're like, cool, but your life
Well,
is in danger as a vampire.
okay, I don't mean to yuck their yums if that's what they were into, but it looked a
Yeah,
little pathetic from the outside. Let's
I think
just
it
leave it.
did. It definitely did. I think that they both were trying to get an open thing going because like that's why he was kind of like getting these village
Yeah.
girls and he was hiding them by killing them and not telling her. And she was trying to get one of these young, the male hero to kind of save her from this. She even told him she's like, I will love you better than any woman has ever loved you before. She's like, I've been around 400 years, learn some tricks. I think
I think he was just trying to eliminate the competition, Pamela.
Yeah, because then once they raise, could they become stronger than him, and do his
Yeah,
powers become weaker? Because he's, if it's
I
just the
mean,
two,
one female vampire already has him wrapped around her finger. What would
yeah.
two do?
And
That's
I
out of
think
the
if the
question.
other female vampire found out that he had made another female vampire, he would have to deal with a lot more. If
Oh,
it,
yeah.
yeah,
You really want the other woman to live eternally so that she's going to come along one day and be like,
mm-hmm.
guess who I am? I'm the other woman in his life,
Yeah,
in
and
his
she's like,
vampire
"Wait, are you
afterlife.
human? No, I'm a vampire. How did you become a vampire? Well, he bit me. Oh, he did.
Steve Wilson, Luca lived upstairs from you. I think
Yeah,
you've seen him before.
yeah. If you hear something late at night, some kind of struggle, some kind of fight, he's probably biting another village
If you
girl on
hear a
the ass.
coffin lid closing at night. Oh, can we talk about their sleeping quarters too,
Oh,
please?
his were Spartan and dirty. Hers, which she had like a curtain in her coffin. Hers were
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it was beautiful, even though it still looked like a mausoleum, but it was pretty. At
Yeah,
least she had a nice cleanish
yeah.
coffin, or I guess those were stone. They weren't even coffins. They were like a big piece of stone, but they were of course like the supermarket stones that just slid off automatically. But she had all those curtains tied in a, tasteful way around her coffin. I really liked her place. His looked like a Halloween spirit display or something.
It did, but you know what? It's like I think the at the time that this was made, like today, it's like, oh, that's kind of cute and cliche, like, but at the time it was made, like they're establishing it. You know what I mean?
She did have good taste. I have to say that for her. She was mean and she was into a weird sex scene with her vampire brother or lover or both. It was kind
Yeah,
of like a black room vibe going on there.
it
But
definitely is.
she did look good. I loved her costume too because they commented and she's like, "Why are you dressed like that?" And I'm like, "Don't ask her why she's dressed. She looks beautiful."
And they're also like, well, you look a lot like that painting, and she's like, yeah, it's my relative, stupid, not it's me.
Yeah. It's me.
No one's gonna
I
say,
love
oh
there's
yeah, that
always a
was me
scene like that.
400 years ago. Sorry, you're gonna die. We have
Mhm.
this crazy scam that we've had you in the castle 15 minutes and already bitten your friend.
It reminded me of Andy Milligan's Blood at the end,
Yeah.
where they got all old and wrinkly.
Yeah. It just was
That was his
missing the outright shrieking and screaming at each other.
yeah. They could have ramped it up a little bit in that department.
Can
There
you
were
imagine what
screams, though.
Thanksgiving was like at Andy Milligan's family's house? Like to lead him to he just oh.
Why is there no Andy Milligan Thanksgiving movie?
I'm not saying that we need AI to make movies, but there are some movies that I wouldn't mind AI making a movie. Like that's my thing. Please make an Andy Milligan Thanksgiving movie. The giblets are coming. The gravy's already here.
Vince Cornelius brought up the Count Yorga vampire movies. We were talking about vampire chicks in different movies, and there was the vampire chicks from Satanic Rites of Dracula were the
Hmm.
ones that these reminded me of because they had those chains on the wall. Like that's what you do with vampire chicks is chain them in your basement
Yeah, there was some
if you're
chaining to the wall here.
Dracula.
You know which ones are really good, but it's late. But the Francis Ford Coppola ones are really good too.
The what?
In Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, he has really good vampire brides in that.
Oh yeah. I like them. They're kind of like sexy Russian model brides though.
Yeah, Monica. That's the first time I saw Monica Bellucci in a movie. She's one of the brides, which is pretty cool. Yeah, uh, Seeds is a Christmas movie. You're right, Mike. I will give you that. So on the Andy Milligan thing, but yeah, I'm glad everybody seemed to dig this movie. Obviously, I've gone on about my adoration for it. So if you like this, I would 100% recommend Monster of the Opera, which is on the Severin Italian Gothic Collection, Volume 1. And then you're like,
That's like a remix of this film, isn't it?
yeah, and he made it only about a year after, but it took like 4 years to come out. But it's pretty good. There's a couple of his I would recommend. You're also gonna have to be like, well, if you're easily offended, I don't think anybody on this show is. So some of his get very adult, to say the least. Um, Later, but Black Magic Rights is really great. Delirium is really, really good. Mania is a movie that was unreleased for the longest time, and it's very strange. It's like a kind of Italian Gothic, kind of giallo. It's about twin brothers, one who may be dead, one who may not. Uh, Nobody is good in it. Even the heroine is a horrible person in it. It's pretty great. There's a lot of Frankenstein lab torture, like S&M Frankenstein lab torture in it. Kind of dig it.
Cool.
Yeah, I really enjoy all his movies. There, if you grab the new Driving Asylum. There's an article in it going through them, but definitely I would recommend Black Magic Rights, which is out now on Blu-ray. Um, or Reincarnation of Isabel is the other title of it. It's kind of like the vibes from this, but if when they went to the other castle, if there was just outright orgies and black masses, um, then yeah, it's like all the stuff you didn't get to see in this movie. That's what that movie will give you. And it's also, as the person at Eyes that checked me out said, horrible. And I said, cool, okay, thanks. Put it in the cart.
That's not what you said.
Oh, I didn't. I told him to go fuck himself. I'm spending
Yeah, get it out there.
I'm spending $45. I love this director. Do you know anything about
Fuck
him?
that
I'm like,
guy.
yeah, a little bit. I'm not just blind buying this. And if I am,
I'm
don't cost your store $50. You
You
know?
are my hero for talking that way to an IDES employee because I was I was insulted so many times by the people at IDES over the years.
The thing is, like, I know these movies are cheaper for me to get online sometimes, but I was there and it was like an impulse buy. You know what I mean? Like, don't get in the way of my impulse buy. Like,
Yeah, like why would you fuck with that? Man, they gotta be losing business big time to people buying stuff online.
yeah, and it's like
You don't want to that attitude doesn't work anymore
that
in IDES.
attitude worked when they were the only game in town, and you had to go there to
Yeah,
find albums. And
it's
like
different now.
now, it's like you go there to look at stuff in person and then go buy it online for cheaper. And like,
We're talking about a Pittsburgh place called IDES Entertainment.
hmm
And IDES was always the place in Pittsburgh where you bought all of your import music. Like if it was, British or, and they catered to like a really, really extensive audience and, just like a wide range of stuff that they stocked there, like punk singles, everything. But,
a lot of
once you
like
got in,
bootleg concert stuff was like you could
yeah,
always find there, and posters, like just stuff that you. There was no internet in the early '90s. There
yeah.
was, but it was very small, and you know, but you couldn't
But
order
it was
stuff.
staffed by people who were in local bands mainly, and they were really mean to the
And
customers.
they've grown now to be too old to be in bands and still work there, and have not never improved their attitudes.
It was not Wax Trax Records. It
No,
was,
no. But yeah, it's like when you go in there, even now, it's like God. It's like you're gonna get talked shitty to by at least one or two people, and it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go. Like I'd like these small businesses to continue doing well, right? So like I like to support them. It's cool that that store's there. Um, but yeah, so
yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know. You don't have to be nice to me, I
yeah,
guess, when I go in there.
they do have that. They're coming to get you poster there that I got to go back and get.
Oh, do they have that there?
They did. That's the one I sent
Oh my
you. It was
God.
$35. So yeah. Well, I don't know why I didn't buy it. What was I thinking? I was looking at it, I'm like, oh cool. That's really neat. Like I have $35 isn't like out of the question anymore. Like when you're maybe when I go to I'd still I'm reminded that I'm like 16 again. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I wish I had money to buy this cool Misfits poster. And no, I actually have the I don't have a lot of money, but I have the disposable income to buy a $35 poster. What the fuck was I thinking?
I never had the money to buy anything in Ides, and I still don't.
No. No, I don't. And the DVDs are Blu-rays are so expensive there. They're so much cheaper. I could just or you can just order them like a Severin Blu-ray will be $40 there. I'm like, well, it's like 28 on the site. And $5 shipping or whatever. So yeah, it's still cheaper on the site. Or if you buy it at a convention and get a deal, it's like, but again, you're there and you see it and you're like, yeah, I guess I'll get it. So what can you do? Hey, want to see what came in the mail this week?
Yes, why don't you?
Let's see. The Arrow ones are exciting to get, but they're not visually exciting. But they're just white labels. But the Savage Gun set is finally out from Arrow, and I think interest. All four movies are really good, but For the Apocalypse, the Fulci Italian Western, is in this set, so that's super exciting. I also got the 4K of the Warriors, which I'm very because I didn't own the
Ooh.
Warriors. What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? We got this movie Appleseed that has Rance Howard in it. That came in. And from 88 Films, I love 88 Films packaging. This is Long Arm of the Law 1 and 2. That comes out this week. From Radiance Films, we got The Facts of Murder, and they got Day of the Locust from Arrow. Those are both.
Karen Black.
Yeah. We got a Mary Pickford movie, Dylan Merritt. I'm saving the best for last, Bill, because I'm really excited about
I
this.
see it, Hypno Vista.
Yeah, Horrors of the Black Museum, which is MVD and BCI put out together, and it comes with 3D glasses. So pretty exciting. And it's got tons of extras on it. It's got a phone interview with Michael Goh, which is pretty cool. I like it's an archival phone interview, but very excited about that.
It's got to rank up there with the Joy Bang phone interview that was on the Messiah of Evil DVD back in the day. They didn't port that over to the Blu-ray, by the way. Like, you have to have the original Code Red Messiah of Evil DVD to get that.
Oh, I would
And
love.
she was mean about everybody in the movie. Like, she said everyone in the movie gave a bad performance.
I love her.
Oh joy.
Oh joy.
Ode to Joy Bang.
You could always get the names wrong on your commentary, such as is on the new commentary track where they where what's his name, Stephen Thrower transposes Joy Bang's name.
And Anitra Ford.
Yeah, and he keeps getting corrected. I'm like, cool. Ugh, Bill,
There's a lot of pressure that goes into that.
I know. I'm sure that I've made a million mistakes. There's one that's on the one we just did.
I fix all yours in editing.
No.
They keep it
That's
real.
what I mean. Like, why didn't somebody fix it in editing? It's not like
because they didn't know either.
Oh.
It's like they didn't know that Ralph's was a real grocery store chain.
Yeah, like what is this? And I get that one though, because they're from England, so like that's so funny that this store is called Ralph's. I'm like, yeah, they're still around. There's still a bunch of them.
That's okay. Stephen Thrower is a super hot bear.
Yeah. Hey, I got a list of some Italian Gothic horror films to go through. This is from Robert Curtis, 3 books on the subject. If you enjoyed these, I'll recommend. Let's go through these. Lust of the Vampire.
I remember that one.
Uncle Was a Vampire with Christopher Lee, actually.
I've never seen that one.
It's good. It's on Tubi, by the way. The Severin edit of it's on Tubi.
There was a still of it in that book I had, Horror Movies by Alan Frank. Uncle Was a Vampire. It was, being a Dracula obsessed child, I had to find that one, and I just lost touch with Uncle Was a Vampire.
Black Sunday, of course. A movie I'm looking for, My Pal Dr. Jekyll. I have not been able to find that one yet. Adam Age Vampire and Mill of the Stone Women. If you guys haven't got Mill of the Stone Women's Arrow set that came out, that set is awesome, and the commentary is top notch on that. Playgirls and the Vampire. also love. And Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. I love that movie too. Slaughter the Vampire, The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, which that Radiance just put that out too. That's one of those ones that I get drunk and I'm like, should I buy that one because it's a limited one? I probably should. Tomb of Torture, The Ghost, Challenge the Devil, The Blancheville Monster, Horror Castle, Black.
Oh, I love the Blancheville Monster.
I was gonna say, that's one we should definitely show. I was thinking about.
That's a good Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Just any super spooky night.
The Demon, Whip in the Body, which was mentioned earlier.
What?
Castle of Blood. Crypt of the Vampire, aka Crypt of the Living Dead. Hyena of London, Monster of the Opera, which we mentioned earlier. Castle of the Living Dead, The Long Hair of Death. Terror Creatures from the Grave, which I very much like. The Seventh Grave, Nightmare Castle, The Embalmer. Bloody Pit of Horror, Lady Morgan's Vengeance, The Murder Clinic, An Angel for Satan, The Third Eye, which is... Huh?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, Kill Baby Kill. I know that's a favorite of yours. The Witch, But You Were Dead, Run Psycho Run, Spirits of the Dead, A Quiet Place in the Country, The Unnaturals, The Doll of Satan, Fangs of the Living Dead, a.k.a.
Malenka.
Yes, a.k.a. Hannah, Queen of the Vampire.
No.
Fangs of the Living Dead, isn't that Hannah?
No.
Oh.
Hannah, Queen of the Vampires is Crypt of the Living Dead.
Ah, okay.
Fangs is the one with Anita Ekberg. We did it on the show. It's aka Malenka, Queen of the Vampires, or the Vampire's Niece. That's what it was called.
Hatchet for the Honeymoon, Queens of Evil, Sex of the Devil, Something Creeping in the Dark. They Have Changed Their Face, which is on the new Severance set. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, Web of the Spider, which is a remake of Castle of Blood. Night of the Damned, Lady Frankenstein. We've shown that on the show. Death Falls Lightly, The Devil's Lover, Baron Blood, which we've also shown. All the Colors of the Dark, Night of the Devils, Byleth, The Demon of Incest, The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, A White Dress for Marielle, Frankenstein 80, another favorite, Tragic Ceremony, Sex of the Witch, The Bloodstained Lawn, The Devil's Wedding Night. Love that movie. Yeah, a lot of good ones. I have a letterbox list that you can go through and check them out at your leisure and say, I kind of want to watch that. I recommend. This is one of my favorite genres, so yeah, I would definitely recommend you checking it out.
Is it the backlit nightgown genre?
It's the candelabra genre. I'm finally drinking the drink from this movie, and it is wonderful. What you got here, huh?
You had one already. What are you going to show now, huh?
What are you going to show now, huh?
Ham's done with his list. What are you going to show now, huh? Here's some ads I've been collecting for the page. You'll see these in the upcoming days. You get a free preview. Well, this one actually, I forget where I pulled this from, but that's face on the right is from I Was a Teenage Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And on the left, that's from The Screaming Skull. That's a good. See Satan's Insane in The Mummy. What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Temptations of the Devil in Blood of the Vampire. That's kind of not accurate either. Vampire cocktails and courage pills. What the hell were they offering you in this ad?
Yeah, that sounds like noisemakers. And what was the other code for cocaine?
Oh yeah, it was a party favors or something.
Yeah,
noisemakers.
That's what you're getting. Courage pills and blood cocktails.
Crawling slimy terror. Yuck. This is amazing.
I don't want to get slimy.
Free moving skeleton to each car. This is amazing drive-in entertainment.
Oh,
Here's something interesting. You know what this is, don't you?
we talked about it this week, didn't we?
Maybe. I don't
Yeah, is it
remember.
it's the Nashi one, right?
Yeah, it's Vengeance of the Zombies.
But it got re-released, and then it had one of those red warning things, right? That before the violence, it would pop up.
I'm not sure.
I've heard that,
If
but
that's
I haven't seen any evidence of whether or not it's true.
if that's true, I didn't know, but I know that a distributor bought it. An American distributor bought it in 79 and put it out. And this movie's from 1973. It is a zombie movie, but it has nothing to do with flesh eating. It's like a voodoo zombie movie. So I think they sold it as obviously as a flesh eating zombie movie. So people must have been really pissed when they went to see Walk of the Dead. Uh, like I said, it was in 79 that they did it. They created this fake ad campaign for it too, where they sent out all these like 8x10 glossies that showed actual vampire scenes in it or zombie scenes that were not in the film. And then they just put this out and they kept putting it out again. This is from 1981. So imagine going in 1981 to see Vengeance of the Zombies from that 73.
Well,
I
too,
don't know.
if you think about it, it's like people had already seen Dawn and Zombie by this point if they were hardcore,
Yeah.
and it's like it doesn't feel like you could really go backward at this point.
Nobody was going to appreciate this in 1981, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
I love that they did it though. It's amazing,
Yeah, I mean, I
especially with
love that they did it.
that fake ad campaign too. It really turns me on.
Oh,
Speaking of turning me on, what does this remind me of? This ad. What could they possibly have been alluding to with the imagery in this newspaper ad?
I mean, I love it.
Oh, I know you love it. You adore it.
Oh, King's Court.
This just brings back so many warm feelings. And I wish I'd
129
been
weeks of Rocky.
I know. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So yeah, here we are, effects. During its original run, this is from 1980 in Pittsburgh.
And there was a time at 2:30 in the afternoon you could go see effects.
A
Amazing.
captivating maze of horror.
I love the King's Court kind of Prince Valiant head to the left of the logo.
Oh yeah. It's like something from a deck of cards.
Yeah, I really love it. It makes me sad seeing this ad though.
I know it's a Verizon store now.
Yeah, I
Ugh,
know.
yuck. At least for a long time it was the Beehive.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, my friend Dave Rulo wrote a book about the Beehive. Have you seen it on social media?
I have. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Sea
Well, I
Mummy's
guess that's it.
insane. I'm still obsessed by that Sea Mummy's insane in the mum. See Satan's insane in the mummy.
Satan's insane. Yeah. Totally not the movie that they put in the ad.
Steve, King's Court was a themed out movie. King's Court looked like a castle.
Yeah. It was the real deal. You would have loved it.
Yeah. It was amazing looking.
It still looks like a castle, except there's a Verizon store in it.
Yeah. I love the
So,
one Becca told us about, the Quo Vadis that was opened in Detroit that literally was all Rome themed. It came out like the week that Cleopatra came out. That's when it opened, and it had a smoking lounge and a bar that you could watch the movies from.
hey, you know what was on Svengoolie tonight?
Hmm?
House on Haunted Hill.
Oh man.
It's amazing, isn't it?
How were the screams?
Oh, there were so many screams. There's that great scene at the end, of course, where the skeleton goes after her and she just screams and screams. Is that when Emergo happened in the
It
film? I
must have been
guess
when
it
it
would have
happened.
been.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the skeleton actually appeared before that scene. I
Yep.
don't remember.
I think it was like they probably had extended screams where in case kids weren't able to wheel the Emergo back after the audience grabbed it, or if they knocked it down throwing stuff at it.
Oh, I mean, just screams like you wouldn't believe. And I love that thing that he comes out operating. It's like a big marionette skeleton that comes out of the acid pit. I'm like, okay, we're supposed to believe that this acid can dissolve human flesh on contact instantly almost. Like, 1 minute it's a woman, the next minute it's a skeleton. And yet he submerges it with what? Wires or something, and it doesn't eat through whatever thin wires he has this skeleton on. It doesn't make sense. It's not real. It's not realistic.
But that's what's great about it. In the same way that this movie tonight, there's nothing real at all about this movie that we watched tonight. But that's probably why I love it so much. The artifice of it.
And I love that lady, the witch lady in it. Like, who is she? I think I always tune into that movie too late to see who she really is. Is she like a housekeeper?
I don't. I'm gonna go back and watch it again just to figure it out.
There's a guy that looks like Lurch, and she looks like Grandmama from
Grandma.
the Addams Family, and then they're just not in it anymore. She makes the girl scream. The heroine. She makes her scream. So many screams in House on Haunted Hill. Thank you, William Castle.
All the screaming.
Do you have an actual favorite William Castle film?
Ooh, that's a rough one. Probably the Tingler. Honestly, I like the Tingler a lot.
I love The Tingler.
Yeah. Though I really liked what's the one we watched 2 weeks ago?
Homicidal.
Homicidal. I really liked that too. I hadn't seen that before, and I dug that one. So, I like. It's kind of hard to pick one though, but gimmick wise, probably the Tingler, just because it's the coolest idea, and the yelling in the theater, the making the audience interactive is pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about screams.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
One of them is this one,
Mm.
13 Ghosts. I dig 13 Ghosts a lot. I love that it's an adventure that a little boy has. It's kind of like Phantasm in that regard. That's why I liked Phantasm, because I saw that at just the right time when I was about the same age as the main character in the film, as many of us were. 13 Ghosts was kind of that, except for a different generation. That and Invaders from Mars were both like,
Yeah.
adventures that happen in the minds of little boys. And 13 Ghosts is so much fun. I would have loved to have seen it in the theater where you got those stupid glasses. Like, why would you not want to see the ghosts? I don't understand the concept of that. Illusiono.
Illusion. I even like we've talked about before. I even like the remake of 13 Ghosts. I think it's kind of fun. It's not as good, but there's some cool stuff in it.
I always remember when that lady gets crushed by the glass doors.
Yeah. The other thing I like about William Castle is he was not afraid to put a lot of copy in his ads. You know what I mean? Like there's like
No,
a ton.
this
Wow. What?
teaser campaign ran before.
Oh, I love that.
I included Mary Magdalene because why not?
Right? It's like it's the
I,
spectacle of the ages.
yeah, talk about it. Was Yvonne DiCarlo, Lily Munster herself, she devil or saint? Mary Magdalene.
That's like whenever they still have those things that started at the Riverside before about here's the churches in the area for tomorrow morning.
Mary Magdalene. Don't fuck with Mary Magdalene. Jesus will read you for filth.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be calling her names. Here's another teaser. At William Castle. He was such a card.
Ectoplasmic color.
It's very Ghostbusters, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway.
I'm super excited for next week.
Yeah, me too. Like, I don't know. Are you excited? Because it seemed like after I mentioned Martin, and I wasn't sure if you were really that excited to do it.
No, I've become progressively more excited over the week, considering it and remembering it. So I think it's going to be great. And I do love screamers. I mean, it's Sergio Martino, so how could I not love it?
Yeah.
We can talk about the TV movie sequel, which is even stranger, Queen of the Fishmen. It is
Yeah.
made of like multiple movies of his footage, all re-edited together.
Barbara Bach.
Love her. She's
Fresh
wonderful.
off her
There's a
stint in Great Alligator River. She's in
yeah.
Screamer.
I love her in she's in a ton of really good stuff pre her Bond movies and Ringo, who she met in Caveman.
I love
There's some,
Caveman.
I do too. I saw it at the drive-in.
Oh my God, you did?
Yeah, yeah, I saw it at the drive-in and I loved it. I remember just being so excited about it. I don't know what it played with. The Spotlight 88. I know it was Spotlight 88, but yeah, it was pretty great.
Oh, by the way, apologies to our two winners of Lichen Colony, the
Yeah,
Blu-ray, which we neither of us has mailed you your prize copy.
you will be getting them soon. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this week was just a little
Believe
rough.
us, it's coming.
hmm
Yeah,
I will
this
tell
week
you,
has been
a
crazy.
3-day work week in advertising is like doing an 8-day work week. It gets nutty. This week was just I don't know how we got it just like got insane. So I'm just glad it's over. And then I'll be back to it in a day. I have like tomorrow left and it's like even with an extra day or two off, it still feels like I never accomplished stuff. We'll be putting up lights tomorrow, getting ready for the Christmas
We've
season.
already started. Our
Good.
yard is full of Christmas shit already, and
Mm.
there's lights up in the house too. So Mark got a head start on me.
Oh, that's yeah. We got the stuff up on the trees and the fence, but yeah, we're gonna put up some more stuff tomorrow.
What kind of oh, by the way, next Saturday night, December 2nd, I know you're most of you are going to be here watching the Drive-In Asylum double feature, right? But if you're in Chicago, you could go meet Lynn Griffin at Facets in Chicago. They're showing Black Christmas and Curtains.
I know
Two
Becca's so
Lynn,
upset that that's in Chicago and not here. She's like, I would love to go to that.
I know. I really wish I could go and meet Lynn because she's so nice and she's so sweet. I've never met her in person.
Yeah,
Um, Plus, I'd love to go there, but I will be there in video form doing introductions to each film, and there'll be an ad gallery and everything. So if you're in Chicago, go. It's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah,
And give our regards to Lynn.
that is a great double feature. Wow.
I know. It's just amazing.
Would you dress like the ice skating girl if you went? The ice skating woman?
Um, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
Would it be considered gauche to go there dressed as the ice skating hag?
Mm. Yeah, it's like don't wear that shirt. Don't wear
I
that
think
shirt. Don't be that guy.
Lynn said she wished she had one of those masks so she could walk around conventions wearing
Oh
it.
yeah.
Spoiler alert, though, it was never her under the mask in the film. Like when you see the killer in Curtains, it was never her because she was like, no, they only had me on set for a certain number of days. And plus, I don't even think they knew who the killer was actually going to be for a long time in that movie. Maybe after the rewrites. So I'm not sure when they made that decision. But I don't think it was in the script who the killer was going to be.
See, I get that feeling that's like it's another movie where things weren't even figured out maybe until the edit. I don't know. You can correct
Yeah.
me if you want, but it's like, I like that though. It's like such a messy movie, but it still works.
There were a lot of hands in that project, a lot of cooks in that kitchen. And the thing that they created was very strange indeed.
But that's
But
what's cool about it. It's
I
like
dig
if
it.
something is, oh, you know what my other fond thing that happened over Thanksgiving was we watched, we just had Pluto on at my mother-in-law's house, and we're just trying to find something to watch, and we watched Temple of Doom, and there's the big credit for what do you call it? The Messiah of Evil folks that comes up because they wrote the script
Yeah.
for it, and I was super excited seeing that.
Poor
I also
them. Yeah.
realized, like, I know I've seen Temple of Doom a million times. It very much doesn't stop for the first like 35 minutes of the movie. Like it goes like so many different places. Like that they're constantly on the run, whether from those Chinese gangsters to falling out of the plane to, you know what I mean? It isn't until they get to that first village that the movie slows down for like 3 seconds.
Well, I mean, they had Howard the Duck, but they also had success also.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun movie. Well, Bill, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much for watching a movie that I love so much, and I appreciate you being part of it and drinking it in. So, and next week we both picked two movies that we love very much. And man, if you haven't seen Martin, well, what are you doing? But yeah, excited to watch that and Screamers.
I hope there are people who haven't seen Martin because I love getting people's reactions about movies that
Yeah,
are so wonderful. That's what this show is all about. This group that we have here going. We love it, and we hope you guys like it too. Thanks for hanging out with us on Saturday nights. We hope you'll come back next week for our last show of the year before we take a
yeah,
brief hiatus in December. And then we'll
yeah.
be back in early January. But you got one more show for 2023. It's going to be Martin and Screamers next weekend on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. Oh, Mike Justice says he's never seen Martin. Wow. And I don't even know if he's joking or not. I hope he's not joking.
Yeah.
All right. So have a
All
great
right.
week, everybody. We'll see you next
Thanks,
Saturday
guys.
night. Bye-bye.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.